Hello there everybody, today we're going to be taking a look at a scenario where Greater Germany forms in modern day. So, this rendition of Greater Germany is created by a factor of multiple things, such as borders of the historical empire, ethnic German areas, linguistic German areas, and a few other factors, but, you don't really care about that. Let's just get straight on with the video, shall we? And obviously the first thing we see is a German invasion of Czechia. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Cut. 3, 2, 1. So we see German troops entering in through northern Czechia, and in the south, well, just basically at every angle, Czechia is cut off, and major cities are captured across the board, including the city of Prague, which completely cripples Czechia, and they surrender over to Germany. And in the peace treaty we see, well, full annexation, of course, which makes these borders look rather spectacular in my opinion. So I think that what I should have addressed earlier is Switzerland. Obviously, Switzerland has been completely crippled by this, so they're just going to cede themselves over to the Italians in down south here, and yet the Italians take over all of this land, which is, good for Italy, I guess. Net negative, I mean, I think major cities and stuff works out population-wise. And the French get all this land, which is very lucky for France, as this land includes the city of Geneva. So, yeah, the French, they're obviously not happy about Alsace-Lorraine, but they're happy about gaining Geneva, of course. The next event we see is a German invasion of Denmark. However, they do conscript a small bit of help from the Swedes up north, and which means it'll be far easier to do what they're going to do. German forces quickly enter into the Jutland Peninsula and capture all these major cities, which I should know the name of, but I'm an idiot. In the east, we have Sweden taking over this island as well as Copenhagen, and Denmark is capitulated. Well, let's address the Greenland and the Rune, shall we? The Germans see Greenland as a very strategic position, and when these passages open up, then Greenland will be very strategic, plus they have a lot of natural resources which the Germans can use to their advantage. So Germany decides to make a landing in southern Greenland, which it goes quite well, other than the fact that they are being very much guerrilla warfare because this is not a nice place to invade. However, up here, we do see some other groups starting to enter into Greenland, if you will. And who could this be but Norway? I mean, they've always had a historical claim over Greenland, and, well, it's just kind of like free land, But also, in the western part of Greenland over here, we see a second landing being made. And who could this possibly be? The US of it. We obviously see them, I forgot to put in an article, but okay. Yeah, we see them making a landing as they have the obvious claim over Greenland that well, everybody knows about, really. So, does anybody else want to defile Greenland over here? No? We're good? Good. Let's turn this on to make things interesting. Yeah, so we see the German forces quickly wrapping around the coast here, capturing most major cities of Greenland. I think Nuke's up here, but I don't really care. Yeah, and they quickly wrap around this coast and create a nice little offensible, does this look trippy to anybody? This border looks really trippy to me. Can't tell why. We see the Lime Team, not the Lime Team, America, pushing out and taking this little slice of Greenland here, as well as this larger slice of Greenland here. And yeah, I mean, we see some huge offensives, and Greenland is this is nothing. Right, this is just snow, and you don't fight very well in the snow. Norway fights well in the snow, so they quickly just push along the coastline, but they also claim a lot of inland lands, so like, you know, I don't know really what to say. Just, I need to pull this peace treaty. Yeah, Norway takes control of most of this land, but it's a barren wasteland in it, so who really cares about it? Germany gets pretty much the rest of this, and then the Americans swoop up to take this. Now let's sort out a little peace treaty, shall we? So this is the peace treaty that we see. This mostly follows, no, it entirely follows the Greenlandic provinces, and yeah, Germany got most of the populated areas, America got some of the populated areas on this coast, and Norway mostly got these resourceful areas. And then of course we can't forget about Denmark, which Germany got all of Jutland and a few of the islands, and Sweden got the Copenhagen and also this island here, which I did forget the name of, so I may have been distracted right now. So now it's at this point that we start to see some countries like thinking Germany is going to stop expanding, we should probably just stop them from expanding. And these countries include France, Italy, Poland, of course, and Norway, because why not? Because they fear Sweden. And this is all for now, but we'll probably see some more countries join in a little bit. Now, some notable countries that didn't join are the Benelux, and well, there's a reason for this. The main reason is they couldn't join because they've been invaded. Yeah. So Germany pushes into the Netherlands, captures this major city, as well as into Belgium, pushes down towards Brussels, as also at the same time there's an offensive up in the north here of the Netherlands, quickly taking out most of these major cities, as well as Amsterdam. Sorry if my war commentary is not particularly the best. But yeah, we do see Brussels being captured, as well as Liège, Antwerp, and a few others. And yeah, they're both quickly overrun. And well, yeah, that's that. Let's take a look at the peace treaty. In the peace treaty, we see full annexation, and we also see extremely beautiful borders on Germany's behalf. Yeah, so the next thing that's going to happen is Germany they're going to get a new ally, being Belarus, of course. And they're going to use this new ally of Belarus to invade into the 3 Baltic states, being Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. German forces quickly push out from, I forgot what this region's called, as well as Königsberg, and they eventually push up, into Latvia. I'm saying eventually. Also, over in the east, Belarus pushes in and captures Vilnius, and they push into southern Latvia. Sweden manages to get a hold of these 2 islands up here, as well as pushing into Estonia, much to the dismay of the Finns. Yeah, Germany pushes around the Gulf of Riga, eventually capturing Riga, and with that, I thought on this one. Whoa. The next event we see is no wrong way. The next event we see is Belarusian forces going up to capture this Lithuanian major city, as well as pushing along the border between Latvia and Lithuania, cutting off any supply routes that they have with each other, also meeting up with German forces in Riga. And with that, Latvia and Lithuania both surrender, leaving only Estonia alive. And, well, Finland swoops down and just takes the entire thing over in a peacekeeping attempt to keep the peace. and like the Romans just take over Estonia, I guess. So yeah, let's take a look at the Treaty of Tallinn. So in the peace treaty, we see Belarus getting their fair share of land, Sweden getting these islands, and Estonia becoming part of the new Finnic Union that should exist. Now, surprisingly, Germany doesn't annex any territory here at all. Instead, they create one large Baltic puppet state, which they can use to, I guess, threaten Finland and now get a direct border with Russia, which is always nice to have. In response to this invasion, we do see many new countries joining in on this Blue Pact. Slovakia, Ukraine, Moldova, Romania, Croatia, Albania, and Spain. Now, this would be very hard war to win for Germany. However, I don't know if it would be that hard due to the fact that I mean they've got a lot of most of industrialized Europe, and as long as one stays out, then they should be fine, right? I mean, it's not that bad. But they do end up getting one more member to the Blue Team, and that is Finland. And you know, this is like whoa, 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 whoa. Because now, while Sweden is completely surrounded, however, they are still the strongest Nordic country, and they've been flooded with supplies from Germany. We also do see even more countries joining in the Blue Team, being Macedonia and even Greece. Germany begins to realise they are cooked. Let's try my best to colour in these Greek islands. So for the final event of this video, we will see a special operations mission from the Blue Anti-German Alliance into Germany, which means that they are now officially at war. And which I should also probably do that. Don't worry about the line colour, I just forgot to get rid of that. So yeah, Germany, they thought it would happen, but they weren't 100% aware that it would come, or you know when it would come. So yeah, also I forgot to colour in these Croat Islands. I'm really bad at filling in islands. So yeah, a ton of resources from the south are flooding in to help the Italians as they push in to South Tyrol, as well as the Croats and Italians pushing into Slovenia and parts of Austria. Now it goes rather well at first, as well, Germany, as I said, wasn't expecting this. Also, the Poles are able to push up into, well, where Poland is now, taking over the land, like the Polish borderland, and as they continue to push west into their rightful territory. Up in the north, the Finns take over these two islands from Sweden, as well as pushing into the state of the Germans. Did I accidentally get rid of the border? I did. So I was pushing into the no. So I was pushing into the Slavic state of Germany. Well, I've read. Also in the south, Ukraine quickly pushes into Belarus, taking many major cities, and very quickly being able to make a spearhead up towards Minsk. However, not all is well, as Sweden basically covered Norway's border with soldiers and stuff, so they are very easily able to penetrate the Norwegian border. Is that the right word? Kind of. They're very quickly able to penetrate the Norwegian border, and they even push down towards Oslo within just a few days. Up in Greenland, we do see some pushing into Northern Greenland from the Germans. However, it's practically minute. But where the blue team sees the most success, I suppose, is over here in the west. Now, it is still a heavily protected German land, so they're not doing amazingly, but the French push into Alsace-Lorraine, as well as taking over all of the Saarland. I'm on the wrong way. The French quickly take over all of Alsace-Lorraine, as well as the Saarland, pushing into Luxembourg and then into Belgium and Flanders, and also into the Netherlands. Now, Germany starts to realise that they are a bit cooked as France pushes into the Rhineland, and Italy has a great push into Switzerland, even though it's very mountainous. And speaking of it being very mountainous, Italy is a bit stuck in the south, but this land here is just free reign, you know. Also up here, Sweden manages to push into Lapland, and yeah, they take this major city and this major city, and then just continue down the Finnish coast, crippling Finland very quickly, as the Swedish Navy captures Åland and blockades them from getting any supply from the French. Germany decides that they'll finally get the shit together, and they push into Slovakia and Poland. Now, as we know, Poland is very, very cooked because they've lost all of their valuable western land, and that was just like a little small piece of hope that they had, but no. Forces come crashing down on every side, and Poland is soon just completely obliterated, as well as Slovakia is almost completely obliterated, but somebody joins the war just in time to get their land, and it's none other than Hungary, who should be red, not dark red. Also, we see another familiar face joining. The Bulgars join. Hungary, as they have a claim of southern Slovakia, gets into Slovakia, as well as pushing south into Transylvania and Carpathian Ukraine, also taking their claim of Croatia. Hungary is really just like, well, they need the claim, don't they? Bulgaria pushes north into Dobruja, however, in Thrace they're not as successful as Greece manages to quickly annihilate Bulgarian forces. Now we'll see a country during the war that will completely change the tide of the war. Right now it's a bit even, but you know. We see the Turks joining in on the side of the Germans. Now I don't know if this is realistic, but you probably guess why Greater Germany coming back in the first place. It's not really realistic, is it? As soon as the Turks join this war, they quickly push into Greece, as both the forces were already ready on the border, as of course they were, and all of the islands, including Rhodes and Crete, are taken over. They even push up into the mainland, capturing Athens pretty quickly, unrealistically quickly. Greece is not very weak, but like Turkey and Bulgaria, they're so strong, you know. No. We see Bulgaria managing to kick Greece out of the country as they push into Macedonia and take over with a combined effort between Bulgaria and Turkey, take over all of Thrace and capture Thessaloniki. Bulgaria manages to reach Albania as they push into Albania and take over the entire thing, and the southern front collapses. Now the navies of Greece and Turkey are preparing for a little bit of invasion into the Italian peninsula. These new combatants are a great help for Germany as they don't need to focus on the east anymore and they can focus on getting themselves together and dealing with the French. Now you see the Germans are still not very they're still a bit cooked in this war. They've got Turkey, with France, Spain and Italy, as well as Finland and Ukraine, and Romania. They're very strong countries and it's not going to be easy for Germany, especially when they've lost a lot of their industrial heartland, and Cologne and Dusseldorf are being threatened now, so they send a plea of help to a country that you wouldn't expect to help the Germans, but at the same time, you would expect them to not help the French. Britain joins the war on the side of the Germans, and I know this is incredibly unrealistic, but care, I do not. So, yeah, that's that. We see, Isle of Jason Guernsey. Yeah, that'll do. We see the British Navy pushing down into Normandy, pushing in. Nobody sees this. Pushing into Normandy, landing at Calais as well, and even pushing into Brittany. Yeah, so the Germans now have success in pushing the French out of the Netherlands. However, the Italian front line is a lot stronger, as well. I don't know if it was a so stronger country they used to be. So yeah, but also the mountainous regions make it very hard to push into. Since this video is getting a bit long, we'll just speed stuff up, shall we? We see Romania getting quickly capitulated by the Hungarians, as well as Bulgaria. Not the Bulgarians, the Hungarians and the Bulgarians. Yeah, okay. Moldova, their capital, gets captured by Bulgarians. Turkey makes a landing up here in Crimea, and Ukraine's coast is quickly taken over. Belarus manages to get the ship together, and they push Ukraine out of the country, and even push south, capturing Kiev, and Ukraine surrenders over to the Red Team. France realizes that they're a little bit cooked, and orders everybody to come home and just make a defensible front line, which goes alright, I guess, until it goes less alright as the Germans go storming towards Paris. And as the war in France is getting more and more unpopular, we see German and British troops encircle the city of Paris and quickly take it over. And now, for the second time in history, or the third time, the Germans have taken over Paris. Also down here, Switzerland is retaken by the Germans, and yeah, it's just Bordeaux's captured, Nice is captured, Lyon was captured. Yeah, France is just cooked. Using modern warfare strategies, they've destroyed France, and they're now pushed into Italy. When Genoa is captured, Milan is captured, the area around San Marino is captured, Venice is captured, Rome is captured, and you get the drill. All these places quickly just surrender over to the Red Team, leaving just two countries remaining, or a few countries remaining. The Croats are quickly destroyed. The last of Italy's forces remain in Germany, as they are quickly taken prisoners of war by the Germans. Romania, realizing how quick they are, they just surrender over to Hungary and Bulgaria. Poland finally surrenders. The push across the Pyrenees into Spain commences. For some reason, Andorra was also in this war, so by Andorra. But yeah, into the Basque region they go. Bilbao is captured, pushed down, and captured Barcelona. The navy of the Red Team is sent over to capture the Balearic Islands and Valencia, and just like it's a bit of a party, bit of a bloodfest. Madrid is captured, Seville is captured, so Spain is well and truly cooked. I realise these major cities are very much in the wrong place. I fixed it on the map that I created. That is better than this map, but yeah, don't have that map yet, so you know. Finland held a good front line. Finland held out. However, they're just not strong enough to hold off the entire red team now. So yeah, all these Nordics surrender over to the red team. Now we'll draw the peace treaty, and well, that will be all. Here's the peace treaty. You can look at it. I can't be bothered explaining it because you know I've been recording for about 40 minutes, so you know the gist. You just can't really be bothered saying what it's all about. But you know, Nordic stuff. Germany big now. Yeah, Germany wins. And that's that. And with all that said, bye.